guys, Ramblin Bob here. So I have another update. This is a very important one, very important one. If you plan on adding any batteries to the Pecron E3600LFP, these are the steps that we found out that is the best and the most proper way to add batteries or hook up extra batteries. As you can see, we have all four. Now the important thing is the system. Let me go over to the system real quick and then we'll come back here. So let's go here. I got to do a couple adjustments real quick so you can see better on the screen, and that way it shows up a little bit nicer. Let's go into system settings, and then we're going to turn off the auto dimming, and then we're going to turn the brightness down to let's go probably, you know, we can leave that up. Let's see. Can you see it okay? Okay, so we'll leave that up. Okay, so when you add a battery, notice that your system right away. Now I'm going to unplug these in real time, okay? So I'm going to unplug all four batteries in real time. Okay, so then when you switch to that part, you'll see that all four batteries, let's see if I can get this closer here, guys, sorry. Okay, so notice that they're disconnecting. So obviously because I disconnected the wires, okay? In real time too, by the way. It's easier to do it with the system off, but it does work with the system on, as we've done it many times. So notice that your host is here, and then all four batteries are all disconnected. So when you hook up your first battery, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one at a time here. Let's see. I got so much stuff going on in my workshop here. All right, we're going to take that out, and I got to make a little bit more room here, guys. The cables are kind of hard to work with, but once you got them set, they're perfect. So, okay, so all the cables are out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to plug in the first one, the first battery. Now when you plug in the first battery, on the side down here, there's a little tiny screw. That's why they gave you this little screw, not really a screw, but a dial. And that's why they gave you this little tiny screwdriver here, guys. And that's so you can set that. Now, most important, in previous videos I had mentioned, as long as you have them in order of, you know, lowest to highest, I found out that that wasn't the case. The system has to have the first battery recognized as 0, not 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. It has to be 0. So this number right here, let me point a little bit better. This first line right here will show up as battery 0, then 1, 2, and 3. Even though there's 5 batteries technically, that's how the system is looking for the batteries. So if you get a system and you don't set that number, that little dial on the side of the battery, it's a very small little dot. I don't know if you can see it, guys, but it's way up there. It's right above the left port, and it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you don't set that, your battery and your system will not properly work together. So what we're going to do is, now the first one is set to 0 already, so we're going to plug that in. Plug it in here. Like I said, the cables are a little tough, but once you get them in there, they're perfect because they stay where they're supposed to be, and that's the best thing you can ask for. So let me put some light on there. Not too much light. Okay, so now watch up here. You will see that this battery should pop up. Now, if it doesn't pop up within a certain time, all you have to do is very simply press the little button that is on the same side as where you just plugged in. So notice it's not showing up on your battery. So even though I have one battery set to the proper number, which is 0 for the first battery, it's not showing up in your list here. So now watch when I just lightly tap the button. There, I just tapped the button, and that basically wakes the battery up and says, hey, see how the little thing up here popped up, the little battery? Now it's going to load into this part right here. And notice that that battery pops up. So now you have 2 batteries, and then you have the temperature and the percentage. And there you go. So it's that simple. So now what we're going to do is add a second battery. Now a second battery is not number 2, it's number 1. So remember, you have to start from host, which that's already pre-programmed. The first battery will be battery 0. Second battery will be battery 1. Third battery will be battery 2. And the fourth battery will be battery 3. It's weird like that, guys, but it has to be done this way, okay? So now what I'll do is I'll plug in battery number, what I call 2, but it'll show up here as 1. You have to have 0, 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, the system cannot and will not recognize any of the batteries. And make sure that you don't put the batteries on the same numbers. If you have 2 batteries on the exact same number, it's not going to work. So now notice that this will not show that second battery. Why is that? Well, it needs that wake-up call, remember? And the best thing to do, guys, don't plug in all your batteries at once. Do them one at a time. Let the system kind of get accustomed to that battery and then go from there. It's just easier, guys. We have the full setup, the 15,000 watt hour. So we really had a lot of experience in a couple months with the system. So now notice it's not showing up. So what we'll do is we'll just push that little button. It's just a little tapping button there. I just tapped it. It turns the light on, and sometimes you'll see it yellow, and then it'll go right to green. There you go. So now you have 3 batteries. See how easy this is? So now you have host, which is the big box. You have battery 1, which is 0, and battery 2, which is 1. I know that it's weird. It's a weird, I don't know why they did it that way. There must be a reason. But now notice I have 3 batteries. That's a 9 kilowatt system, 9,000 watt hour system that works perfectly now, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a 3rd battery. So hopefully if your pocketbook is deep enough and you're able to save enough money to expand this and max the system out, it's really a nice system, you can add more batteries over time. You don't need all the money for the full system right away. That's the cool thing with a modular system. You can buy what you can afford or what you need right now. Some people will buy just this part and they don't need 4 batteries, so they just buy this and they're done. You could buy 1 battery and then you're done. There's no have to have limit. You know what I mean? It's whatever you need, what you want. Okay, so now I'm going to plug in the 3rd battery, and now if you remember, the 3rd battery is going to be numbered number 2. It's a little tiny twisty thing, so make sure these numbers are correct. So here comes battery number 2 on the screen, and actually number 3 when you buy them from Pecron. Okay, that's plugged in there, and then just give it a little tap, and that way you want to hear this button. You hear that click? You want to hear that click. That means that it's locked into place and someone can't just yank it out. Like if you got kids running around that, you don't want them to be able to yank this stuff out. They shouldn't be around the equipment anyway, but kids are curious. Okay, so we're going to wait a second, and then you'll see that the 4th battery, once again, is not recognized, right? Well, the 3rd battery, right? See, this numbering system is very confusing. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's simplicity. But like I said, they have a reason why they're doing that. Maybe it's a protocol thing. I don't know. But now notice it didn't show up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera, okay, just enough so you can see it. Now notice that it's still not there, but I'm going to put my hand in here and find the button, which is right here. It's above the 2nd port on each battery. Now watch when I tap that button. That turned yellow down there, and now it's green, which means it should show up here. There you go. So now you have 4 batteries. So now you have a 12,000 watt hour system ready to go, right? Simple. And notice that they're all happy. They're all green. No charging, of course, because the solar is a little bit off. So now the next question is the last one. What if you had enough money to buy all and max it out? So you want to have the system as close as you can to a balance, like within a 10%. So what I did is I charged the 4th battery a little bit more than the rest of them. And that way you guys can see that it's okay if they're a little different. They balance over time, and sometimes they pull from 1 battery and another battery and 2 batteries. It all depends on your draw, right? But for the most part, as you see, they balance very nicely. So you got 57, 55, 58, and 55. That's very close, right? That's what you want to see. That's great. It's not always like that, but that's a great feeling when all your batteries are balanced and the same. So now I'm going to do the 4th battery. Now remember, this one's going to be a little bit off because we charged that battery through solar, so that way you can see the difference, and then over time it'll balance out. So here's the 4th battery. Now we're going to plug this in. You're going to hear the click, hopefully. I can't get it in there, guys. That's a tough one. Give me a second, guys. I'm on a weird angle. Okay, there you go. Did you hear the click? It really takes a lot of pushing to get that in there. Let me make sure that's in there. Hold on. Yeah, once okay, there it's in there. Once the battery is locked, there it goes. Okay, so it takes a lot of pushing sometimes to get that battery cable inside there. And then I put the system back together like that. And now notice that the 4th and final battery on a 15,000 watt hour system will not show up once again. But remember, this one's going to be off because we charged it a little extra to see what would happen. So now I'm going to push the button down here, which if I could turn this, way down here, I'm going to push this little button one time. Basically, all you're doing is you're activating the battery. That's it. Sometimes it'll wake up by itself. See, it says in equilibrium, okay? That's a good thing to see. That means that it's going to be different than the rest. See how that's more? So give it a second. And there you go. See, now that is 57, 55, 58, 55, and now this one's 65, right? That's about 10% difference. So the reason that we did that, like I said, is we wanted to show you that as long as it's close, you can hook them all together. And then over time, that'll all balance out. And then sometimes, like I said, sometimes you'll see it a little bit off. It's nothing to worry about that I've seen. But eventually they all balance and they all go down to 0 at the same time. But that's the video, guys. I wanted to help out the subscriber family. A lot of questions with batteries and stuff. And I think a lot of people are making a lot of big mistakes with hooking these up because they're forgetting you have to take that little screwdriver and you have to turn that little button. What I'll do is I'll show you the button that you have to turn real quick, okay? So let me see if I can get in here. And I'm going to add some light to this here, guys, so you can see. Now notice that this little, let me see if I can get in here. Okay. There, see that little white little part right here? That's your dial. That's your setting dial. And you have to make sure that that dial is on the correct one. Remember, we have 4 batteries. That's the full system. So I wish we could put more batteries, but we can't. That's all she wrote. Maybe someday, maybe there'd be a way to mod it, but I don't know. That's another story. But you have to have, and let me back this up so I can reiterate this because it's very important, guys. Let me back this up here. And then let me put this down a little bit here, okay? So that's the full system, okay? And you have to make sure 100% that this one sets itself. You don't need to set that one. This one is battery 0. Even though this is actually the first battery, it's battery 0 on this screen. This is battery 1. That's battery 2. And that's battery 3. Now, they could be in different configuration, of course, the way you set it up. But that's how you do it, guys. You want 1 and 2 on this side, which is the first port on the main system. I have this one and this one on the first one. And then I have port 2 going down to the 3rd and 4th battery, which is actually 2 and 3. It is a very confusing thing at first, and especially if you're new to the solar power, guys. This stuff, as simple as that was, that can be very frustrating to try to figure out what the heck, how to set it up. And the instructions sometimes are not 100% clear. So like I said, I just wanted to make this video. It helps a lot of the subscriber family out. We are dedicated to the cause to help folks out. As we said, we're not professionals. We don't always have the right answers or the answers in general, but we always can at least help you find the answer by working as a team as a subscriber family. All right, guys, I have a full system again, and I'm going to get ready to charge it up. Solar's going to start, and hopefully, a couple hours solar will start, and then we can fill these bad boys up to the 15,000 watt hours and then start saving on the electric bill. All right, guys, ramble on, be safe, and I'll see you guys here again on Ramblin Bob Reviews. Have fun.